Hello everybody, welcome to an exciting list video. I feel like it's actually been a while since we've recorded a traditional, our own, like top 5 list video. So I'm excited to get in. This week's subject is our 5 favorite weapons. So without further ado, why don't we dive in and start listing what our weapons are, starting with number 5. Bryn, what is your number 5?
We got the Blackjack, specifically the level 2 one. There is no threat you could use to induce me to play the level 0 one.
What if the threat was you have to play a level 0 Blackjack or Switchblade?
I'd play the Switchblade.
Ooh.
Really?
It has the possibility to deal extra damage.
Oh, yeah, no, that one doesn't. You're right.
That level 0 Blackjack is pretty terrible. This is like the level 2 Blackjack. Man, this is one of, in my opinion, the best melee weapons in the game. Obviously, if you're playing at low player counts, it gets much, much worse. But as a multiplayer weapon, this weapon's incredible. Mm-hmm. For 2 experience, you get +2 punch to the attack and a fairly consistent way to deal +1 damage. Plus, you get the failsafe of even if you miss, you don't hurt the guy you hit. Mm-hmm. It's just good.
It also gives you that ability to help someone but not. You be like, all right, I'll fight the monster, and then you just don't defeat them, and then you're like, well, sorry, you didn't get damage when I missed, so it's your problem now.
You're welcome.
Look, yeah, it's your fault. The main downside to this weapon is that you cannot ever use it to kill Justin, and that's just kind of sad.
Yeah, that's why I don't play it.
That's fair. That is very fair. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good weapon. It's not a fun one.
Yeah. It is like really good, especially with the way we play, which is just Travis. Do you want? Should I take this guy? Nah, just swing at him. Who cares? I trust you.
Just do it. You won't fail, right?
Yeah.
It is actually probably a lot more fun if you do not, as we do, take sadistic glee in possibly killing your teammates.
Well, I'll be real.
Like live on that rush.
We are also
one thing I'm learning.
It makes for a good clip.
One thing I'm learning is I don't take sadistic glee in killing you guys, so I'm a bit worried.
Well, it turns out the stats for that are 1 and 3.
Yeah. My number 5 is a little bit cheating because I've never actually played with it, but I know I'm going to like it. You could replace this with other things that are on this list, right? Like, all the other weapons on this list, especially some of that like Travis and Bryn have chose, are good. But like I know I'm gonna love the frick out of this weapon when I actually play with it. There's just so much here that's gonna win. Like it's just like like I just picture in my head Silas running around with level 2 opportunists. You just like won't stop. And if you fail, you just pick them back up, put them into your hand with Sea Change Harpoon, play it again, and just keep going. Like, oh my god, I'm so excited to play with this card, and I know I'm going to love it. If I love it this much right now, I can't wait to actually play with it. And you get to see Silas's chest in the art. It's another thumbs up from me. Travis, you're number 5.
Yeah, this is a Detective Colt 1911s. These are Joe Diamond's signature asset. And actually, it's more like I like the design of these cards than them as a weapon themselves. Like they're very functional, +1 damage and +1 punch. It's good. That's like on par for what you get for 4 resources. It also lets you hold up to 2 tool assets, and I just really like the blend of Seeker and Guardian that this card represents. Where it's a solid weapon that also doesn't take away from using cards like Magnifying Glass and Hawkeye Folding Camera. I think is a very strong design choice on their part to a good way of representing that overlap that is also distinct from Roland's weapon, which does not make the list because it's considerably more boring. Yeah, I just think it's a cool card. It's well designed, and I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why it's here.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Things I like.
Yeah. All right, let's go to number 4. Bryn, what's your number 4?
We got the chainsaw, which is coincidentally a tool. So if you somehow manage to get Joe Diamond to hold them, he can dual wield chainsaws and his guns because they are
What a
two
lead-in.
tools. Yeah. Is that good? God, no.
What do you God no? It's sick.
You shouldn't. Yeah, like it's sweet, but you probably shouldn't be trying to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this one's just a really cool take on like a big red weapon where like we get some plus punch. We deal a lot of extra damage if the attack fails. We get to do something about that too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know. Another cool thing about it is that instead of using ammo, it uses supplies, which are about 1,000 times easier to put on cards than ammo is.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Plus, it's got 3 punch symbols.
That's pretty sick. That is pretty sick.
Yeah. It just you get to play out your Evil Dead theme deck or your Doomslayer theme deck
and just go nuts.
If only we had a red blue
go nuts with the chainsaw.
Investigator who could benefit from this as well as well prepared, right, Bryn?
If only.
What a dream. My number 4 is Gravedigger Shovel. Like Travis with the Detective Colts, this one's kind of here for me because I love the flavor of both this and Lantern. And I love the idea that like these are tools that have an additional effect, and they're like the mirror of each other, where you hit someone with a shovel or you dig up clues. The way that you can just remove it from the game to discover 2 clues again, like it's testless clues is great. Like especially in the location with like 6 shroud and 2 clues, you're like, don't worry, I'll just dig it up and everything will be hunky dory. Otherwise, like it's a great rat killer, right? Like if you just need to kill something small or a cultist killer, they have 1 HP. It does its job, but this is mostly here because I love the flavor of Gravedigger Shovel and how it feels to play with it.
Yeah, my number 4 is the Mark I grenades, which stems mostly. This is a card that I looked at initially when it came out, and I was like, whatever. But then I played it in quite fittingly a Mark Harrigan deck. There's a lot of the good stories from this game stem from. It was really, really good.
Was this the Mark Harrigan deck Bryn built for you in the gift exchange?
Yeah, this was gift exchange
this was
one.
my favorite one.
Yeah.
The well-maintained one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a weapon that's like costs 4 experience, and it comes with 3 supplies, but it's like 3 Storm of Spirits in 1 card that doesn't take up any slots for some reason. I'm surprised this doesn't take up body slots, to be honest. But anyway, it's really cool, and I like throwing grenades at enemies, and it feels really good to just blow up like 3 enemies with it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the attack also always does 2 damage to each other investigator. Which
even better.
Yeah, I mean like if they're at your location, that's their fault. They knew you brought grenades.
Yeah, like they're in play probably.
Yeah. And it's like it's a threat. Like, Mark, are you going to use those grenades? And he's like, I didn't bring them to not use them, right?
Yeah, like I didn't pay 4 experience to not play this card.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a couple of rats. Like, are you sure? Like,
yeah, like you could just punch the rat and it dies.
Yeah.
Or
that would
pin.
take me 3 actions though.
Yeah. Or this.
Yeah, it's sweet. I do like Travis. I have fond memories of Mark with his grenades. That was a good time. Like when Travis realized with the well maintained, he puts them back into his hand. He was like, "My God, I'm unstoppable."
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our number 3s. Bryn, what's yours and my number 3?
It's the garrote wire. Yeah, I just think this card is so cool.
It's so cool.
Like it's a weapon that takes up your necklace slot. Well, that's pretty neat. Cultists are a problem. Not anymore, they aren't. You can even choke out rats with this thing.
Yeah, which is kind of scary when you think about it.
Yeah, that's like actually probably harder than not doing that. But yeah.
Just the amount of efficiency this card gives you. Like when I saw Bryn play this in his first Tony Morgan deck, I was like, oh dang, this card brings the noise in a monster killer, right? Because this card is essentially Asphalov, like a free action that gets you over the hump, which is
it's even green.
Yeah, we haven't referred to the Asphalov hump in a while, but it's like enemies have 3 health because most commonly you deal 2 health to an attack. So 3 health means you have to spend 2 actions to do it. Garrote Wire, you're probably going to succeed with it, and it's not going to take you an action to defeat that enemy that you have to spend an extra action normally to fight. It's super sick, and I love when people choke people out with Garrote Wires. It's so cool.
That's exactly why this card has to be green.
Yeah.
If this card was blue, it would get mutated or something.
Yeah, definitely. It's also a shame that like Tony Morgan is like kind of just is basically just taking out every other fighter rogue and just shooting them in the head or garrote wiring them. Because like with Tony it's great, and the other one it's still good, but like Tony's just kind of taken over green fighters, at least in my opinion. He's so strong.
Yeah, like I don't really see a reason to play other green investigators in the monster fighter role.
Yeah.
And my number 3 is this is number 3, right?
Yeah, it's number 3.
Okay, this is Survival Life level 2. The level 1 or level 0 is pretty okay, but it is nowhere near as awesome as the level 2 one because the level 2 one lets you stab them back first.
Mm-hmm.
You get to attack them before they attack you. It's like a free action every turn, and it's just like a fantastic weapon to have hanging around with your lightsaber, or maybe your Mystic Enchanted Blade in one hand, or your Hungering Blade, or your machete, or your black, whatever you're using. Or if you're playing with a 2-hand gun, you can roll around with this on your bandolier. It's just +2 fight and +1 damage for an attack when they attack you, but before they do is kind of insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so good.
It's sick. I love Survival Knife.
It doesn't take any supplies or ammo. You just get to use it for as long as you have it.
Yeah, definitely. Which is like probably for a very long time.
Probably for the entirety of the game after you play it.
It's especially great. Like I've seen Bryn do some combinations like with a bandolier, and then he just has the survival knife there, never to attack with, but just to like get that extra 2 damage in when he can't finish an enemy, or just like grab an enemy and just be like, I'll kill it during this, like during the enemy phase. It's really great for that too. Just like to just be there to kill things in your bandolier slot and use a gun to shoot bosses. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's a weapon that's not redundant.
Yeah. All right, number 2's starting with Bryn.
The Beretta M1918.
Mm-hmm.
This gun is just so sick. Like, you get 4 ammo, you're exhausted, and spend an ammo to fight. You get +4 and deal +1 damage for the attack. If you succeed by 2 or more, you can either ready the Beretta, or the attack deals an extra damage, and if you succeed by 4 or more, you do both. It gives you the 4 that you need to succeed by. This gun's sick.
Mm-hmm.
4 bullets on like a pretty reliable 3 damage. And in the color that gets the easiest access to extra bullets.
Yeah.
Like, come on. How is this not cool?
It is sick, and I'm excited to... This is one of the guns that interests me more than the other ones, because as you can probably tell from my list, I don't like things that like run out. I like to like put an item down and be like, this is here forever. We're best friends. But the Beretta, I'll be like, yeah, this one seems fun. Let's do this. This is gonna be a good time. I love it. My number 2, which I thought for a long time, like when I was making this list, I thought it was going to be my number 1. I love Fire Axe because I love Dark Horse. And in a series that is happening right now on the channel, I have Preston with Fire Axe and Dark Horse, and I think Preston is the best for Fire Axe in Dark Horse in that build than any of the other ones. And it just, it gives you such good damage output. And it's like, if you have no resources and a high fist value, it's just like essentially just a machete. Like, that's pretty sick. And then if you have other ways to generate resources, it's just very efficient. Fire Axe, it's costs 1 to put out, and then it's just other resources are just make it better as you go. It's a bit dull and boring, I do agree with that, but when it's so efficient that I love playing with it.
Weapons kind of are just like dull and boring in general.
Which one's
in a lot of cases anyway.
Sorry, Travis, I missed what you said. It's kind of like what?
Oh, I said weapons just kind of are dull and boring in a lot of cases. The good ones, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Some of them are sharp and boring, like the survival knife.
Yeah.
Travis, I love your number 2, so I'll let you talk about it. This one's also sick.
Yeah, this is the old hunting rifle. The baseball bat could also be in this slot, but I like this one more because it's a gun. That's cool. The reason it's here is I really, really like the... and would like to see more of the mechanic where it's like Mystic's Light for survivors, where sometimes they just get unlucky in their gun jams or whatever because it's a piece of garbage, or their baseball bat breaks. I really like the negative effect on a skull or auto fail, and like with the weapon just being slightly above curve all the rest of the time. And this one in particular is incredibly flavorful with you needing to clear the jam on the gun. And it feels very survivally, like, you know, you're blasting enemies with your gun and suddenly it doesn't work, and like you gotta figure something else to deal with the monster you're engaged to, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, it also tells such a good story as exactly that. You're shooting an enemy, your weapon jams, you throw your improvised weapon at the enemy, right? Like, that's just a great story as well that exists within the game. Especially if it's your last
really
ammo.
really cool design. It's a space I wish they would explore a little bit more, maybe with other items as well. Like they did a fire axe alligatory in the Mariner's Compass. I'd like to see something like that for clue gathering, where it breaks with your, you know, maybe if you. So you investigate and you get like a bonus to your investigate, and if you fail by like exactly 2, you get an additional clue or some garbage. And then if you drew a skull or an auto fail, your thing breaks. I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get it. It's a design space that would be fun to explore outside of just as weapons.
Yeah, normally I'm pretty good at coming up with solid card designs on the spot, but not for this one, apparently.
Well, I think with that one, it's like hard to like come up with something that like, what is this item that will have a negative effect that doesn't just like, you know, like.
Yeah, it's hard to balance and make it above curve for clues without making it just like get an extra clue, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick. Yeah. All right, well, let's go to our number 1s. As always, I like to tell commenters, try to guess what our number 1 is. I think you probably won't, to be honest. Bryn's was surprising to me. Travis's was also not too surprising. And then mine, I was like, yeah, this is the number 1. I don't think I can put anything
If you listen to the video carefully, you could probably guess mine, but...
Yeah. All right, let's see our number 1s. Bryn, what's yours?
That's a hell of a pile, isn't it?
Look, all these cards are technically weapons.
Yeah, okay. So mine is the Mauser C96 for several reasons. Chief among them, this is a workable level 0 green weapon. Not even just weapon, but card. I enjoy the game more when I get to play green cards. And I like it a lot when they actually work, instead of not doing anything, like some of them do. But also, this gun is just like, it's pretty neat. You know, you get 5 bullets, which is above curve for a four-costed weapon. But as an additional cost to activate it, you have to expend it, or exhaust it, and then you fight at +1 and deal +1 damage. And if you succeed by 2 or more, you get to choose between readying it or gaining a resource. It's just a neat design space that fills like a lot of holes that green had.
Yeah, was it with Winnie that they started doing guns that exhausted in green?
Yes.
I think that cracked it wide open, exactly, because they can now pace the guns a bit better for green to not be so on par with blue without having their weapons be like trash compactor.
Yeah, though this being a garbage fire.
Yeah. Speaking of garbage fire, let's talk about Knuckle Duster. So this one...
I beat the crap out of myself with this twice.
Pardon, Travis?
So I beat the crap out of myself with this twice.
Yeah. I really like Knuckle Duster. I don't think it's particularly good. I think there's moments where it can be absolutely fantastic. It needs a lot of work to get there. But just like turning all, like Retaliate, it's there. It's against enemies with Retaliate, this card basically just says fight, deal +1 damage, right? But I love the idea of just what it represents. You have your Knuckle Duster, you have to get up close and personal to fight these people. And there's nothing I enjoyed more than when I was Leo Anderson just punching the shit out of people with my Knuckle Duster, or watching Travis as Tony Morgan kill everybody at the party. With like
that was kind of nuts.
Right? Like, it's just like the highs on Knuckle Duster when you build around it and get everything else working it's just so exciting to see and fun that I couldn't put it as like my number one. I think Fire Axe is a lot better, like leagues better, but this one I just have such fond memories of Knuckle Duster, which makes it my number one.
My
there
number
also
one
is the star that this is Knuckle Duster with Reliable attached to it. Like, that's also very important to say as well. Because on its own, it just... it's just...
My number one is the Enchanted Blade and its 2 upgrade iterations. This card, I was really, really happy to see them print. I was a little skeptical, of course, when it first got printed. But after playing with it and seeing it played with, I was really happy to see it get... I think it's like a viable alternative to Machete in a lot of instances, and it's a really nice sort of it's not quite as good as Machete still, but it like competes with it kind of, especially at higher player counts. And I really like the flavor of, or like the mechanic of, you can just stab things normally, and then but if you need to stab them better, you can. It's like a gun that you don't have to spend the ammo on. You can just take your +1 punch and stab your rats or your cultist or whatever and go home.
Yeah.
Right? And then the purple upgrade is pretty limited in its uses for the investigators who can play it, like Diana... No. Yeah, Diana Stanley can play it. Yeah. She's purple blue, right?
There's
and
a
then, like,
bunch of them who could.
Yeah, like, it's also pretty functional in like Akachi or in Jim. They both have... Jim is 3 fight, right, Justin?
Yeah, he has 3 fight.
Yeah, it's like functional in them. But the blue one is so good. It draws you a card when you kill the enemy, and you get to heal a horror, which is usually something that blue investigators struggle with.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
just...
you get +2 to the fight even if you don't spend the charge.
Yep.
Yeah. Just like a really great solid weapon. And it took them quite a while to print something that could, like, a melee weapon that could, like, really compete with Machete. And I'm just happy to see it. I'm happy it's here. I also have very fond memories of this with the same Mark Harrigan run that we've been talking about. Well, I've been talking about the entire video, so.
Yeah. To echo what Travis was saying, you guys have been talking about this card being good for such a long time, but I've never actually played with it until the Sister Mary run I'm doing. And it's true, like, it's 100% correct. Like, this card it just feels so good. Like, it's just great to play with. And I just finally upgraded into the blue, so I'm excited to start feeling that as well.
Sorry, you don't trust Bryn and I's...
Oh no, I trust you. Like, I trust you and I believe you, but like exactly what you were saying, like when you first see it, you're like, yeah, like this card's good, but like I don't know. And then when you play with it, it's just completely different, right? Like, it's
if Bryn tells you a card's good, you should be skeptical. If I tell you a card's good, you should maybe wait to evaluate for yourself. But Bryn and I both tell you a card's good, it's probably pretty good.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't never believed you, but actually experiencing it for myself, I can now personally attest to the goodness of this card.
I think the blue upgrade also has the added upside of you don't have to spend the charge until the attack is successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them has that. I don't remember.
Yeah, because that's blue.
The blue one does.
The purple
yeah, the
one is you can spend more charges.
Yeah.
Oh
to
yeah,
make
yeah.
the attack even better. Yeah.
The blue one seems sick, as it should be. It's a blue card.
Oh man, imagine what's his face? A Luke Robinson deck with that and like Eldritch Sophist to keep it full of charges. You just go around assassinating people.
How about the
show up to like it's +3 shank.
Magic assassin.
That'd be sick. All right, well, that is our top 5 weapons. If you want to see more lists, please recommend them in the comment. I don't want to say we're running out because we're not, But I mean, I'm having a hard time like choosing the list for the week because I don't want to retread.
Yeah, like we could
ground.
do some, but a lot of them would like be committing to doing 5 weeks of like one for each color or something.
Yeah. So keep your ideas coming. We love seeing them. We also want to do a list coming up. Someone recommended one that I think would be really fun, but it was going to take us time and like homework. But it's like cards from Arkham Horror 2nd Edition and Eldritch Horror that we want to how they would be in the game, right? I think that could be a fun thing for us to do in the future. But yeah, keep all your ideas coming, even the weird ones. They're all very helpful for us when it comes to planning what to do for these lists. Otherwise, we'll see you next Thursday for the next list video. Have a good one, and as always, GG's.